Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Grandma's Kitchen. I'm sorry it's been so long since my last video. Life gets in your way with summer going on and then school starting and everything, but we're back and I'm hopefully going to do a video more often. Today for you I'm going to show you how easy it is to make homemade, healthy, hearty beef stew. What you need is stewing beef right here. I buy a big container, this box package of stewing beef. You buy it like this at Walmart, and it only cost me $10 for that big. You want to get boneless stewing beef. You can buy a steak and chop it up in cubes if that's what you like, if you come across a really good sale. But this is already done for you. Now the chunks are too big, so what I do is I just take and you don't want a great big chunk of meat like that in your stew. You pull that out and that's a big, that's too much to bite into. So I cut it into little tiny chunks, just like this. And we just take another one and just right like that. And that's basically all there is to that part of it. And then you want to take a baggie, a Ziploc baggie, or bag, it doesn't matter, any kind of bag. You can do it on a bowl or a plate. I find it in a little baggie is quite easy. You put flour and salt and pepper, and you take your beef chunks and you throw them in the bag, just like this. Right there we are. There's a bag full of flour, salt and pepper, and then you give them a good shake, 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 and they're coated with the flour. And then what you want to do is braise them. Braise means just brown. I got a little bit going here on the stove so I can show you. You don't need to cook them all the way through because the stew is going to cook and simmer for a couple of hours. So you basically just want the outside of the meat brown. And what the flour does is that it will help to thicken your soup when it's all done. So there, I'm going to move that from the stove. There is what they look like. You can still see the red in some of them. That's okay because it's going to cook through. And I know some people like rare meat, but not in stew. That's all brown and nicely done. The flour will add as a thickening agent. You can also add more. I'll show you how to make a roux later in case you want to make it a bit thicker and if it's not quite thick enough. So you take that and then you put that in your pan. You leave it in your pan. You've got the pan here with all the drippings. There's still a few pieces of meat left in there. You get all this nice coating here and stuff. If there's any extra oil, you can drain that off. It'll dry up. It'll go through everything. You put that, you leave there. See that? You leave all that goodness in the pan. You add in potatoes and carrots. Fill it with water just until it's covered. I've got one here started to show you. There you go. You got your potatoes and your carrots. You can use celery if you like. I don't use celery because it's just kind of wastes away. There's a big shot of it there. You put potatoes and carrots and onion, and you let that simmer. You put your beef in there. Let that simmer for an hour and a half, 2 hours, low and slow. You put your burner right down to the lowest setting. Give it a stir like every half hour, every hour, and when it comes to the time, if you need to have it thickened, you can make what's called a roux. That is 1 tablespoon of butter or 2, depending on how much you need. I start out with a tablespoon. There's a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of flour, and then you see how thick and creamy that is? And you take the broth from the stew and add it in here. You can use milk, but if you use the broth, then it's flavored. And you add this and you slowly pour it into your beef stew at the very end of cooking, within the last 10 minutes or so. You put that into your pan in the stew, and it thickens it. Now, if you want a little extra beef flavor, if the beef doesn't flavor enough, you can use beef bouillon. Some people use beef broth, and that's quite all right, but then again, it's another liquid that you're putting in, so then you have to, can't get that. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Beef bouillon. And you can use beef broth, but again, it's another liquid, so it kind of thins your soup out. And you want beef stew, not soup. So that's what that looks like. It's beef powder. You mix that in, just a teaspoon or a tablespoon at a time because it is on the salty side, as well as what is beef broth. It is salty, so you don't want to just put a little in and taste it. You may not need it at all. Your beef may be flavored enough. I usually find I used to have to add at least a teaspoon of the beef bouillon just to give it that extra beefy taste. And then you let that simmer for a good 2 hours. Like I said, low and slow. Serve it up in a nice big bowl with a nice buttered bun or bread and butter. Nice big thick piece of Italian bread or just buns from the bakery or whatever kind of buns you like. And there is supper tonight. One beautiful pot of homemade beef stew, and it does not take long. The prep time is about 10-15 minutes by the time you chop your veggies and cut up your beef and put it into the flour and then braise it, and that's it. And then you have supper in 2 hours tops. And it can be longer, I mean, or quicker. You can keep it up, turn it up high and cook it quicker, but it's better low and slow. You also can do this in the crock pot. That leaves it, you just put everything, you braise your beef the same way I just did it in the pan with the oil, and then put all your ingredients in a crock pot, put the top in, plug it in, turn it on, boom, you're done. And it just simmers nicely for you. Keep it on low, not a high setting, keep it on low, and it keeps it in, you're just done. You don't have to worry about it. So if you want to set it all up the night before, turn your crock pot on if you have to go to work the next day, or if you got other things to do, you know, you don't want to stand over the kitchen all day long. You got things to do, which is everybody's got so much on the go. Stuff like this, this kind of a meal, everything in one pot, doesn't take a lot of time to prep it. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients. It doesn't cost a lot, and you've got a very healthy, hearty, rib-sticking, nice meal. So I hope you all enjoy. Copy my recipe. Leave a comment if you like it. If there's anything else you'd like to see, go ahead, comment. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you to all my other subscribers that I have, and hope to get a lot more. I want to make a business out of this YouTube channel, so have a good day, everybody, and enjoy that yummy, delicious beef stew.